We will call to order the meeting for the mayor and city council of Statesboro. We will have our invocation and pledge of allegiance by Councilmember John Williams.
I'd like to ask Marcus Toole if he'd give the invocation this morning, please.
Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the rain. We pray that there'll be more rain. And Father, we thank you for all the people here, that you would bless them and be with them, be with the city council members and with the mayor and with all those who will speak today. We pray that the decisions that will be made today will be pleasing to you and good for the people of Statesboro and the surrounding areas. And we thank you for it in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll move down to our public comments in regards to the agenda. Do we have anyone for public comments for the agenda list?
No, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you. We'll move down to a consideration of a motion to approve the consent agenda. The consent agenda includes the work session minutes from our November the 18th meeting, as well as the council meeting minutes from that meeting, as well as the executive session minutes from that meeting. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. We'll move down to agenda item 5, and that has 2 sections, and we'll turn it over to Councilmember Barr, Mayor Pro Tem Barr, to lead us through agenda item 5.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is consideration of a motion to approve application RZ 251007 Southeastern Property Acquisitions is requesting a zoning map amendment of approximately 23.15 acres from R3 medium density multi-household residential district to MX, which is the mixed use district, all property located at 6850 Cypress Lake Road, tax parcel MS 3300023002. Part B, 5B, is an application RZ 251008. Again, Southeastern Property Acquisitions is requesting a zoning map amendment of approximately 5.22 acres from R3, medium density multi-household residential, to MX, which is the mixed use district, all property located at 7406 Veterans Memorial Parkway, tax parcel MS 4200044A000. We had a public hearing on this matter at our last meeting 2 weeks ago and deferred a decision. So what's happening today is council's discussion and decision on what to do with the matter. So I think we have staff. I know we always have staff, and I think we have developers here. If we have any questions we want to ask of them. Council, what's your pleasure? What do you think?
Probably have some questions for the developers.
Okay, go ahead.
Of course, I wasn't here last time, but I did see it on the internet, so I know everything that happened. I understand everybody's position. I would be in the same position probably. However, I wish we could get Kroger to go somewhere else in the middle of town, but we don't get to decide who owns the property and what they want to do with their property. And I've been weighing it, and this is one of those almost 50-50 things. I'm going to fall down on the side of approving, because I think that it's just it's more appropriate for the city of Statesboro. It's not good for Whispering Pines. I know it's not the greatest thing, but I want to alleviate any kind of light pollution and noise pollution. And that's what I want to ask the developers about. We need trees, lots of trees. We need light pollution, meaning all lights point inward. None of them ever point out. I don't want anyone to ever walk out of their backyard of Whispering Pines and even see the back of the lights. I want them to still look that way and see the same thing that they see today. Developers, somebody do that? Anybody amenable?
Absolutely, Councilman. In fact, prior to this meeting, I went back to review the MX zone, which again, we looked at commercial for the whole thing and did not believe that would be the most appropriate. And that's why we chose the MX. But in the MX zoning, it has already some very stringent lighting restrictions in the ordinance that we have to comply with, right down to where they have to face and how many candlelight powers it can be. And it can't face the residential district. That is already in the zoning ordinance, and we're bound by that already. And so I don't even think that's necessary for a condition, because that is already in the zoning ordinance, and I think the staff could attest to that. So we got to comply with that anyway.
Well, as completion gets closer, problems are going to arise. I want to know that those are going to be taken care of. Like if something, we've got to put a pole up here. Oh my goodness, though, it could get in somebody's eyes, or something. I want to know that it will be addressed. That you're just not just going to follow our rules. That you will go above and beyond for the people who for the neighbors. Be neighborly.
That is certainly our intent.
Yeah.
Daniel, you want to address that? Daniel is our developer.
Well,
And,
Daniel's with me too, but
I'm sorry.
that's okay. Chris Sin is my name.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've done this around neighborhoods before. We did Richmond Hill, we did the same thing, the road leading through the middle of it, and we will definitely be very sensitive to the residents and anyone around. Kroger likes to come and support the community, and they don't want the community mad at them, especially the neighbors. So we're open to any suggestions to how to, appease the neighborhood behind us.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Do we have other questions of the developers while they're here?
I want to thank y'all for what you're doing for the town. I just like to see the community work together. I do think it's a good thing. Like John said, we can't control where it is. This is a zoning matter, like Paulette said last time. I think it's a great thing. I really appreciate the members of the neighborhood that came out. I've taken time to think about it as well. They made valid points. I think if you all work together, especially maybe dealing if there's HOA or anything and talking with them, I think for the greater good, I'm planning to work with them as well.
Thank you, Ms. Hendry. Other comments or questions? Thank you. I'm sorry, I didn't understand your name, the developer who spoke.
Sorry, my name's Chris, last name Sin.
Mr. Sin, thank you for being here and for speaking. You asked for other suggestions on how we might work better with the neighborhood, appease the neighbors. I know we have some choices in the zoning ordinances about buffers, about the 50-foot wide with dense trees, or the 10-foot with just the bushes or just the fence. So I'm hoping that flexibility might leave as many trees as possible, as much buffer as possible, home for Cypress the turtle, as much of that as we can. I know it's easy to go in and clear cut everything and just put back, and at a minimal we allow that, but we're really looking for a little more understanding and a little more working with people and leaving trees. So that's what I would ask you when you say you're open to suggestions. That's what I would request of staff and would ask, and I don't know whether we need to try to make that a condition that we're approving it under, advice from attorney or from planning or other staff.
Madam Chair, I do have a comment that I'd like
Please.
to make in reference to the zoning. Try not to have any last minute surprises for the developer or the neighborhood, but I do recognize that council has concern and the citizens have concern. And so one issue that
sort of resonates with me, and having discussed this with staff. If you do approve the MX zoning, that's for the entire piece of property, which means that the concept plan that was presented looks really nice, but it's just a concept plan. And there's nothing that guarantees that plan, that the development is to the letter of that concept plan. Unlike the PUD zoning, if we were doing a PUD, they would have to build to that plan, but we're not recommending making that change, but we do need to, I would say to council, where the residential development is on that plan, we need to ensure, if council so desires, that development stays that way, so that Kroger is not sitting on Whispering Pines Boulevard, or any other commercial development is not sitting on Whispering Pines Boulevard. It's going into a neighborhood. Right now on that concept plan, it shows, I think, townhouses that would be developed. But again, that the developer is not, that's not and I'm not saying anything about developer, I'm not saying they are true to their words, but this is development. Once you approve the zoning, they don't really have to build to that plan. So one option would be for it to be a conditional use offered up by, well, council didn't offer it up, but if developers would make a commitment that residential development, as it appears on that plan, is going to be there, and anything else would, and I'm not a planner, so I might be getting the words wrong. You're going to be committed to developing the residential portion of the property as it appears on the concept plan if council approves this MX zoning. And so I want to raise that concern. I believe I have an obligation to council to make sure you're aware of that.
Thank you. Yes, that's been my concern all along, because I've learned in the 6 years I've been here, that once we approve it, the pretty pictures can go out the window. We're approving that you can do anything within the zoning, which is our concern. Even if we're okay with Kroger, or trying to be okay with Kroger, we also have those concerns. So how do we address them best? And so a conditional use, is that what we want to modify? I mean, trying to
Anyone will be able
understand.
to call on Justin maybe to help with the matter?
Just, yeah.
Just thought he might have some insight.
Thank you, Councilwoman. We did discuss this a bit. There are a number of ways that we actually have outlined in our ordinance to allow for us to do this. One of the options that I would offer would be following section 2.2.12F, which is a part of actually our PUD requirements. It's the mixed use concurrency. So if we were to apply that mixed use concurrency requirement to the area abutting Whispering Pines as a condition, that would pretty much clean this up. So that would be, you got to do your commercial where your commercial's outlined, but abutting Whispering Pines, you'd follow that mixed use concurrency.
And what specifically, I'm sorry, I'm not following.
So the mixed use concurrency requirement basically caps the amount of commercial development in a PUD. You have to have at least 20% residential. So that would be what we would be looking for that abutting area. So it would cover them in regards to them doing really whatever residential you can do in the MX zoning district, but they'd have to do it in that location.
Does that condition necessarily apply, or you're saying we should make it apply?
That
to
would be a condition
particular
that we would
portion?
apply.
It would be a condition.
Establish that in the
Yes,
Condition of approval.
It would be an MXCU.
basically.
Basically, it's been a mixed use with the conditional use of
The
what
mixed use
Justin said.
concurrency.
perpetually be tied to that property in our documentation.
So there would be limits on, they couldn't do anything you can do in MX in the portion next to Whispering Pines.
You could do the residential stuff. that we could do in MX.
Okay. Developers have any concerns or questions?
Yeah, we're having to kind of fly by the seat of our pants on that one this morning. We weren't exactly prepared for that, but, our plan is just that. It's a plan. We've got a lot of testing to be done on the soils and the property. So as long as we're not tied to the exact layout of that plan, we can do residential. I mean, that part we plan to do. We still like the same density permitted that you see, but we may have to move around just because of, the ultimate, but we won't be moving the commercial into that. But just how we lay out the residential, as long as we have that flexibility in this condition, I think we can live with that, with the residential remaining in that area that we show it on the plan. Just, it may not be specific, maybe we show it 79 units on there, maybe it's 75, maybe it's 82. I think as long as you're looking for the residential, I don't think you would have an issue with that. So as long as we have that kind of flexibility, making that a conditional residential on that side only, I think we can live with that.
Thank you, Mr. Rushing. Do we have other questions or discussion? Can I call for a motion?
I have a motion for approval
Yes.
with the conditions.
Do we have a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
Sorry.
Conditions as stated by the planning.
And we want to make sure, Justin, when you come back and cite, so we're specific in the motion, so we have it in the motion.
Yes, sir. So there were the initial three conditions that we proposed at the public hearing, and then this would be a fourth condition, which would basically just be that the bordering area of Whispering Pines neighborhood must follow section 2.2.12F of the Unified Development Code.
And that's a condition.
So that's the motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. The motion passes, and I'll return the gavel to our mayor. Thank you, Mr. Howard.
All right, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Barr. We move on to agenda item 6, second reading and consideration of a motion to approve ordinance 2025-18, or ordinance amending chapter 74, adding article 3, special services district. Mr. Penny, if you would.
Mayor, members of the council, this is the second reading. We've been spending some time with, in particular, the Cobblestone community, but this ordinance would impact the city. And what it basically does is creates a special service district in order to, in the case like Cobblestone, they have infrastructure that is below standard. And what this would allow us to do with the petition process, it would allow us to correct the situation, but it would create a service district, and those properties would then be assessed the cost of doing that work. And once that once it's completely paid for, the city would then be responsible for the streets. We do recommend approval of the second reading for the special service district. And if we have a lot more questions, I got Kane and Olympia that are the experts.
All right, thank you, Mr. Penny. Any questions from council? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll move down to agenda item 7, public hearing and first reading of ordinance 2025-19, an ordinance amending chapter 5, purchasing system policy of the Statesboro Code of Ordinances. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, let's get some insight from Kane.
Mayor, Council, this is brought before y'all. It's just it mainly changes the amounts in the purchasing policy. It sets out for rate and quote processes, procurement cards, sealed bids, and what the city manager approval moves from 20,000 to 50,000 most importantly. But it's just an amendment, pretty much knocking the numbers up from what it previously was in 2011, when it was last amended.
Thank you, Kane. Is there anyone here to speak for this request? Is there anyone here to speak against this request? Seeing that there is none, is there a motion to close the hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We want to open it up for council discussion. Any discussion by council? All right, seeing that there is none, Is there a motion to vote to approve the moving forward for a second reading?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll move down to agenda item 8, consideration of a motion to approve resolution 2025-32, a resolution accepting the street right-of-ways on portions of Roscoe Lane, Castellano Drive, and Hamner Drive within the Bel Air East subdivision, phase 1B, as public streets to be owned and maintained by the city of Statesboro.
Mayor, members of the council, in the Bel Air East subdivision, the developer has built these roads to city standards, and it's normal practice when they build under city standards, and with the expectation that we would accept those roads once they are completed. And in this case, they are submitting these roads for us to accept them, and staff recommends acceptance, and we recommend your approval this morning.
Any discussion by council? Seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll move down to agenda item 9, consideration of a motion to approve the purchase of a 2026 F-250 XL Crew Cab 4x4 from J.C. Lewis Ford in the amount of $49,690.72 for the Stormwater Division to be funded by Stormwater Utility Funds under STM 7. Mr. Penny.
I can't really add anything else. We do recommend approval of purchase.
All right, thank you, Mr. Penny. Any discussion by council? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, let's move down to agenda item 10, which is a consideration of a motion to approve a contract with Vickery Farms Sodscapes LLC for vegetation maintenance services on various stormwater facilities in the amount of $18,320 annually to be funded by the Stormwater Fund. This contract will be a 4-year agreement with the option to renew after each 1-year term. Mr. Penny.
Mayor, members of the council, right now, in order to maintain our stormwater management system, the city crews go in and where you have retention and detention ponds, and we maintain those, and it's quite a bit of work. However, what we're recommending this morning is that we enter into a contract with Vickery Farms, and it's a 4-year contract, but they're renewable every year, and there's also an increase in the cost. And what this is would do is it would allow they would maintain a certain number of those stormwater detention ponds for us, and it will free up our staff to do other maintenance work. And for a cost of $18,320, we think that's a small amount in order to for the growing season. I think it's like May to April to October when they would actually we would use this contractor to do that work, and we do recommend approval to Vickery Farms.
All right, thank you, Mr. Penny. We're going to open it up for council discussion. Any discussion by council? All right, seeing that there's none, is there a motion to approve? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, let's move down to agenda item 11, consideration of a motion to approve a task order with WSB USA Incorporated in the amount of $32,784 for engineering design services for the replacement of the transfer station tipping floor to be funded by solid waste disposal revenue funds. Mr. Penny.
Mayor, members of the council, our transfer station is a very important piece of infrastructure for the city and the county. All the garbage, solid waste that's collected goes through the transfer station and then it's hauled off. So what happens is, over time, as the front-end loader is pushing that solid waste into the trailers, it wears on the floor of the transfer station. And so every so often, you have to go in there and redo the floor. And so what we're recommending today is a contract with WSP USA. We worked with them before, so they're familiar with our transfer station. Is a design contract to go through and prepare the the documents in order to bid that work out. And we recommend that you approve this morning. If you don't do this, there will be portions, and there currently are some portions of the transfer station floor that you can see rebar. And when you see rebar, you can't operate on that side of the floor, so it limits the space that they have to actually work. And so it'll push solid waste debris outside of, it'll make it really tight in there. And so this is something we need to get done really quickly. So we recommend approval.
All right, thank you, Mr. Penny. Any discussion by council? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, moving on to agenda item 12, consideration of a motion to approve a purchase of a Caterpillar 950 wheel loader in the amount of $396,660 under SWD-11 to be funded by solid waste disposal operating income. Mr. Penny.
We just talked about the floor. This is that piece of equipment that moves that debris along, and it's time to replace it.
All right.
Recommend approval.
All right, thank you, Mr. Penny. Any discussion by council?
Sounds like an awesome piece of machinery.
Yeah.
Wanna drive it? Can I drive it?
We have a motion for approval.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll move down to agenda item 13, which is consideration of a motion to award a contract to Southeast Connections LLC in the amount of $990,349.82 for the relocation of natural gas facilities along Highway 301 North as part of a GDOT road widening project to be paid for with funds in the natural gas and CIP budget item NGD-95. Mr. Penny.
Mayor, members of the council, if you've been out 301, and I say 301 business, well, it's like Parish Street, and you go now further, the state is in the process of widening 301. And so we have our gas lines in the right of way. And so we have to relocate those gas lines. And DOT doesn't pay for that, we have to pay for that. And so in this case, we did go out for bids, and the low bid was the $990,000. And so we do recommend approval, and we have the funds to cover that cost.
All right, thank you, Mr. Penny. Any discussion by council?
This is the same area where we had the rupture by a contractor, but it's unrelated. This is just.
Yeah, it was unrelated. This one had to be done. What happened with that part, it was sort of right outside. It was in the right of way, but it was a smaller piece of a gas line that was disturbed by earth moving equipment. But this is relocation of the big line to get it out right. We'll move it in the right of way, but it will not be on the roadway.
Further out.
Yes.
Thank you.
Any further discussion by council? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, we're moving down to agenda item 14, public comments. We do have two individuals signed up for public comments. We have Ms. Annie Bellinger.
Hey, Miss Annie.
Hey, all of you. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. I'm here today because I have a concern that's going on in the neighborhood. I don't like smudges on the face when I'm talking because I'm a person that's very sensitive. So if you got smudges to put on the face, you can remove them. I'm here because somewhere along the line, we are missing the point with our children, y'all's children here in the neighborhood. The kids came to me and says, our food stamps is cut off. We don't have any food in our house. Will you allow us to rake your yards so we can get something to eat? I said, sure, I'll help you out. I said, but why don't you tell your mother to go to the food bank? We don't eat food from the food bank. So there we go. Every day, for almost 2 months. Those kids was coming to my house looking for food. I don't have money to keep giving them food, because if I do, I'll be without food myself. So I'm asking the city, is there anything that can be done that when you know something like the food stamps got cut off and you know 42 million people is getting food stamps, is there some way or somebody that can help these kids understand if they can't do any better, they have to eat from the food bank? Because I can't afford to feed them $15 every day to get food, because that's what they want for raking the yards and stuff like that. I'm not pointing my fingers at anybody, but I'm pointing my fingers at the whole city. Because the city is failing these people, because you bring people in here from out of the city and they don't know the city. These kids know I've been on that street in that particular house for 50 years. And they know that I will try to help them, but I can only help them so far because I have to take care of myself. I'm a one person and I have to take care of myself. And every time that I comes up here, people will say, well, she's up there trying to set up the same thing the city already set up. I'm not up here trying to set up anything. I'm up here because, just like I said, the kids comes to me. I don't know why. I guess it's because my yard's all messy. That's what they used to, messy yards and stuff like that. But do put somebody out in the neighborhood that's going to help these kids. You know, we don't knock people with PhDs and DHPs or whatever you want to call it, but we do need people with common sense. And common sense would have told any kind of committee in Statesboro, this kid got the food stamps cut off, we're going to see how many of them go to the food bank. If they don't go to the food bank, they got to eat somewhere. So that, you know, that was what I was here to discuss with the city.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Angie.
The next person that we have on the list is Ms. Christy Higgins.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you, Council and Mr. Mayor, for having me here. My name is Christy Hendricks. I'm the owner and operator of Classic Car Care and Auto Sales, and also Classic Car Care Detail Service. And my concerns today is the slump pump that we have there. I'm just going to read off my notes here so I don't miss anything. For over 20 years, we have been utilizing the slump pump despite paying for city sewage services. Unfortunately, the pump frequently backs up and overflows, creating costly plumbing issues and foul odors. I'm seeking your guidance on how we can connect a proper sewer line without relying on the outdated and ineffective slump pump system. This issue is more than just an inconvenience. It presents sanitary concerns, potential health risks, and negative impressions of our city's infrastructure. If you guys could assist us in any way with getting this sewage slump pump tied into the city sewage, it'd be greatly appreciated. And when it backs up, the odor is, I mean, just horrific. It really is. And the surrounding businesses and everything can, you know, smell it. Customers coming up there complaining, and you know, it's just been an ongoing issue. About every 6 months or so, I'm having to have a plumber come out and fix this. And I am paying for, you know, city sewage and have been for over 20 years.
Can you get an address?
Yeah, address.
121 East Main Street. It's just right here up the street.
Yeah, we know where it's at.
Mayor, we'll get, staff is probably aware of the situation, and ma'am, this may be a private matter. Typically, the city doesn't maintain a sump pump. That is the responsibility of the property owner. But we'll talk some more with you when the meeting is over. If you see that gentleman sitting there, raise your hand, and we'll talk with you and see if we can try to help resolve the issue for you.
Yes, sir.
But do you own the building or are you renting that space?
I rent it.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
We'll talk with you.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. All right. Is there anyone else for public comments?
I don't have a turtle or any box today. So thank you all for seeing me and listening. Again, Mr. Penny, Mr. Riggs, Ms. Barr, thank you for bringing up, Jordan Gray. Thank you for bringing up with regard to item 5, buffers. So I just want to ask first a point of clarification because buffers are subjective, as has been discussed. What is the city's mandatory buffer for such a project? Because as you all noted, plans can change as the development continues. A buffer for some is just a strip of trees. A buffer for others is the number of 40 feet was brought up. In other cases, it's 50 feet. In other cases, it's in terms of yards or meters. So for this project, point of clarification, what is the city's recommended buffer?
Yeah, I think we'll need to get Justin to help us with that. But Mayor, I do want to just say, if you okay. Now, sometimes when people think of buffers, they think of either a mound, or they think of trees and things of that. But we also have to think about part of a buffer is also residential zoning. And that was one of the reasons why council wanted that conditional use to ensure that the housing development would go between any commercial development and Whispering Pines. That is a buffer as well. So when you ask that, it's not just a mound of dirt, it's not just trees, but we actually use zoning to provide buffering. And you normally use multifamily, and this is not, it's not in any way to be demeaning to multifamily, but typically you have commercial development, and then you put multifamily development, and then you have the single family. So the multifamily serves as a buffer to the single family development. But come on, Justin.
Yes, sir.
He's right there.
Only 27 seconds
You know,
left.
that's fine. Lane, stop it.
So in reference to the UDC, there are 3 different options when it comes to buffers. One is a 50-foot natural strip, which is just don't touch it. There are also the opportunities to plant evergreen trees and things of that nature. Or you could do a fence with an additional bit of space in between it. So there are options that they have in regards to that buffering, and during the engineering process is when we will make that determination, but it has to fall within one of those. And as Mr. Penny mentioned, the multifamily will serve as the initial buffer for the development of the Kroger itself and the actual neighborhood.
Thank you. Thank you, Justin. One thing that I did want to say is, so looking at the conditions of this site, and I know you all have already voted on it, but I did want to bring up something that had to do with the rezoning, is that there is a traffic study for this development is presently underway, yet the council is being asked to act before the results are available. As of today, I'm not aware of those results being made available for the council or public scrutiny and digestion. So the question I present to you all is this: how can a fully informed decision be made whether to rezone this tract with full knowledge of the intended plans for it without understanding the impacts on traffic flow, congestion, and roadway safety? Requiring the results of the traffic study prior to approving a rezoning petition is not a delay. It is a prudent, data-driven step that protects residents, preserves infrastructure, supports sustainable growth, and accounts for avoidable costs to the city and its residents. So that is one thing I did want to say. I know you all have already talked about it, but I appreciate you listening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else for public comments? Seeing that there is none, we'll go down to other business from city council. Any other business from city council?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. First, I wanted to respond to Mr. Bray. So the city zoning, as Justin informed us, there's the 3 different options they have, and typically developers want to do the least expensive. So it's up to staff to guide the discussion and get as much as we can. And that's why I said, and others have expressed, we want to preserve, we want to leave any space we can for the animals. Look, we didn't make it a condition, but we're telling staff, as you're working with them, as they're choosing, as we're making concessions or doing this and that, that's what I would like to see held out for, the maximum buffer, to leave some of the established trees and fill in, if we can. So that's in response to what you were saying. And the council can't get into the traffic. That's outside of our bailiwick. It's a condition of them proceeding with development that they have it done, and then staff guides them in implementing whatever is required. But that's past us. We can't do traffic studies. But thank you for being here and your concerns. And I'm sorry it didn't go your way, but hopefully it'll be a compromise that folks can live with.
Yeah, thank you very much for the clarification.
Yes, sir. Also, I just wanted to, I'm sure Mr. Penny will highlight some of the good things that have been going on in Statesboro. It was exciting. Many of you were at the tree lighting downtown, our first ever, and I think it went really well, and it's really pretty downtown now. Outside, our lights and everything all lit up. I commend the staff folks who led the effort to decorate us, the city hall and downtown for our holiday season. Thank you for doing that. We've got 2 good things coming up that I'm aware of right away. This Friday night is the holiday kickoff. If Alan wants to tell us details, I think it starts at 5:30, goes till 8 o'clock.
Yes, ma'am, it does. We are actually going to have a meeting with our merchants to see if the weather's going to be amenable to it, but if it doesn't, they decide to push it to next Friday. We'll certainly let everybody know, but they put a lot of work into it with the parade and the window decorations and the vendors. So we'll let that group decide how we want to do it, and we'll certainly get that word out. But if not, it'll be a great Friday.
Super, thank you. So the holiday downtown, if the weather permits, 5:30, the downtown events. There's also an event going on over the market. Visit Statesboro location where I think Habitat for Humanity is doing a version of the chili supper. So you'll have multiple choices if there's good weather, and if not, hopefully you'll have more good choices the next weekend. So thank you. Hope to see many of you at those events. That's it, Mayor. Thank you.
Anything else from council? Okay. We're going to go down to city manager comments. Mr. Penny.
Mayor, members of the council, did want to just mention, Ms. Barr mentioned the tree lighting, and at the tree lighting, we did thank the staff, and so I don't have my full list, but almost every city department was involved in making that happen. And so I do want to call out Ms. Cindy. She decided about a year ago that City Hall needed to be more decorated for the holiday season, and she took that on as a project, and then she stepped it up a little bit more and said, now we need a Christmas tree, and so we now have a Christmas tree, and so with her help and the help of a big committee, they've done a lot of good work. They've already met. They met yesterday to debrief from last Tuesday. And so next year, I just say stay tuned because it's going to be bigger and better. But it was an amazing event to see the folks come and then to go from there down to the market. There were just so many people. And we can't tell the Convention and Visitors Bureau how to do their thing, but they might want to consider coming back to downtown and the market. Because they had over 100 vendors, but it was so tight, and it could be a really expansive opportunity for those vendors that want to be in our downtown area and kind of with the tree lighting. Really would be great, but it looks great, and City Hall looks great. You want to mention the toy drive, Mayor? Your toy our toy drive, your toy drive. We do need people to continue donating toys. And as a part of the downtown piece, even though City Hall might be closed, Allen have agreed to provide opportunities if people want to donate toys half out, that we're gonna find a way that they can still donate those toys so we can get them into City Hall, and we can use them as well. This Saturday, we have the Georgia Power Resource Day. It's gonna be right here in City Hall. It's going in the council chambers, and I don't know however many folks, but with Representative Lehman Franklin, with the mayor, and with Georgia Power, they will have folks here talking about how people can take advantage of some programs that they have available. And so that will be from 10 until 2 on Saturday at City Hall. So we invite folks to come out for that as well. And I do want to just say to the gentleman, when we look at zonings, the zoning piece is separate from a traffic study. The first thing council has to decide is if the zoning, the land use is appropriate for that land. Once they make that decision, then all those traffic impact analysis and all of that, most developers are not going to pay for that in advance of knowing that the property is going to be zoned. So that's why it's you wouldn't have that. What council is trying to decide is that zoning appropriate for that land? And if they decide no, and someone's already gone out and paid money for a traffic study, they would be awfully upset with us. And so it doesn't tie council's hand, because they could have very easily have said no. And so that's why the traffic analysis doesn't happen before the actual land use for zoning is approved for that property. And Mayor, I think that completes all that I have.
Okay. All right, thank you, Mr. Penny. All right, we'll go down to agenda item 17. Is there a need for executive session?
Yes.
In regards to
Personnel.
All right. There's a consideration of a motion to enter into executive session to discuss personnel matters in accordance with OCGA 50-14-3B. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second? All those in favor?
Aye.